At first, I was simply enamored, enraptured, even, by the thought that I was not gazing up at untouchable galaxies billions of light years away when I looked up at the starry sky. The realization that the Antipodes were really just a myth that somehow had turned to fact. No people standing upside down on the other side of a planet. Only neighbors, maybe down the block or maybe thousands of miles away, but always in a lateral direction. Everyone on the same plane. Everyone sitting beneath the same mysterious sky. A sky that can literally roll up like a scroll. And that's all this has been, a journey of wonder, astonishment, a mix of horrible truths and yet also intensely beautiful ones. It's like you can't ever fully appreciate the stunning magnificence of the Creator or His creation, unless you're also willing to look at the lengths that so many people will go to turn away from the simplicity of His design and find a way to idolize some aspect of it, somehow. And those idolatries always, inevitably, in turn, turning into the idolatry of ourselves. And the funny thing about idolatry is that it's like a weed that you can never seem to rip out all the roots. It just keeps coming back again and again. And after the few short years I've spent on this plane, through all the searching, through all the anguish and despair and newfound hope and utter amazement and all the rest, it is that same idolatry of self that I've found myself being faced with at many different stages, both in terms of people and various positions of my life and inside of my own self. And it's a never-ending frenzy of building shrines, constructing our own little legends, our own little legacies, miniature epics, making a name for ourselves, having a voice, creating some buzz, building a brand, making a mark. At least that's what I always see, whether it's real or imagined, and it's what I feel, and increasingly so, as I've found myself unexpectedly swimming in this strong current of social media content creation and truth movements and cosmology research and everything else. As time has gone by and things have progressed, and it just brings with it this increasing pressure to keep on trying to expand your audience, make your pedestal just a little bit taller, get more views, network with other people who get lots of views. I mean, we've all been programmed since childhood through video games to always want to get a higher score, and social media as a whole fundamentally exploits that programming, and so there's this Pavlovian thing within each one of us, always wanting to get a higher score, a higher number. But, we can disregard all of that because, well, we're doing it for truth. I mean, we're using the system against itself, right? We're taking down the system from the inside. And so we press forward. Be a voice, be a face, be a brand, but be a truth brand. Yet people don't want to believe that the whole agenda of blurring the lines between corporations and individuals, it's not just about using us as collateral on the stock market or economic sorcery designed to turn us all into debt slaves, but maybe ultimately about fundamentally changing the way we view ourselves as human beings, changing the way we see everything. I mean, have we really stopped to question the long-term effects of treating everything as a potential product? Every word spoken, every tweet, every selfie, every recorded little tune has the potential to have monetary value, if it's something enough people are interested in. All data in the world now functions as a commodity that is subject to the speculative market of freakonomics. The craziest thing about the fiat currency system is that no one's been forced to use it. No one ever had to choose between jail time or execution and spending a dollar bill at a store. It was given to us, and we were just taught how to then monetize and break down everything in the world according to dollars and cents. Supply and demand became the law of the land. So this is how we now think of everything, and it's not just basic raw materials and natural resources or goods and services, whether we admit it or not. Now fame can equal money, and money can equal fame. We all look at those two things as being virtually inseparable. They're symbiotic, even. So I suppose it's not surprising, then, that when we've been programmed to think of information as just another form of currency, and currency is something you have to spend in order for it to do anything, that we treat this supposed highest of all ideals, the truth, in this same way, in accordance with all the language and protocols of commercialism. It was that same commercial programming that had so thoroughly penetrated and enveloped the halls of the church that I grew up in that played a significant role in me questioning the existence of God for so many years of my own life. And I have tasted things through all of that I never want to taste again. I've learned many lessons the hard way, and I lost a lot of relationships because I couldn't stomach the hypocrisy of letting the gospel be sold like a product and letting the church be treated like a business. By the time I came to believe that the earth was flat, there was no family left to offend by it. Every bridge was already burned, because that had been the hill that I had already died on. That was where I had already taken my stand, the rejection of such idolatry through commercialization. So yeah, here I am, and I could probably choose to do what so many else are doing and just ride this thing as far as it'll go and see how many interviews I could do and how much buzz I could create and maybe how many books I could write or how many conferences I could manage to get invited to and make a real name for myself, become a voice, become a face, become a figure, and build a resume, build my own little podium, my own little stupid online shrine. But I could never do that. Because just as now I see those antipodes as pure and utter fiction, I now too see the idea of putting yourself up on a stage or on a billboard or even on a YouTube channel and, thinking that it will not slowly affect your ability to be authentic and immune to manipulation and temptation and solely concerned with the truth and the truth alone. That's just pure and utter fiction as well. Because the truth of the gospel actually teaches that we as the children of God should not commodify ourselves, or our thoughts, or our name, or our presence. That is idolatry. I still wrestle with the question of how do you smash that idol, and smash it for good. At first, I was simply enamored, enraptured, even, by the thought that I was not gazing up at untouchable galaxies, but maybe down the block or maybe thousands of miles away, but always in a lateral direction. Everyone on the same plane. Everyone sitting beneath the same mysterious sky. A sky that can literally roll up like a scroll. And that's all this is millions of light years away when I looked up at the starry sky. The realization that the Antipodes were really just a myth that somehow had turned to fact. No people standing upside down on the other side of a planet. Only neighbors. It's been a journey of wonder, astonishment, a mix of horrible truths and yet also intensely beautiful ones. It's like you can't ever fully appreciate the stunning magnificence of the Creator or His creation, unless you're also willing to look at the lengths that so many people will go to turn away from the simplicity of His design and